Amazing, amazing, amazing grace of Jesus Christ. We thank God for his mercies and we exalt the name of the Lord because of what he is doing in our lives. We are so much blessed by the Lord. We are so much blessed by the Lord. And we are trusting God for his mercies. We are trusting God for his grace. This is Blessing Impartation Sunday. Blessing Impartation Sunday. And we are thanking God because he has been kind to us. He has been very gracious to us. And of our Lord in our lives. And we continue to advocate for the mercies of God in our lives. More so because of how amazing our God is. He has taken us through we are. We are not here by accident. We are not here because we don't know God. We are here because God has been good to us. And we continue to thank God for his very great mercies. And this wonderful Blessing Impartation Sunday, I want us to discuss something I promised yesterday. I said I'm compelled to speak something about blessings. Today's service, remember here on TikTok, we're having a live program called Conquering the Kingdom of Darkness. But because this is Blessing Impartation Sunday, we just drift away a little bit so that we can proclaim our portion in Christ. That now it is 10:20. By 11:30, we should have concluded so that we can engage in the main service. And today, in this wonderful program, we are calling it Blessing Impartation Sunday, BIS. I want us to discuss about the secret of wealth, not because we are already worthy, but because we are discovering means and ways and the techniques of attaining that. Because we first acquire the knowledge and then we practice or we exercise that knowledge to get the results. We don't start with the results and then we get the knowledge. No, we get the knowledge, we understand it, we exercise it, we bear the fruits of that dimension. Wonderful, wonderful. Praise Jesus Christ. And in a very brief manner, I would like us to discuss about this thing called wealth. Okay, there are 5 dimensions of wealth. There is wealth in form of knowledge, wealth in form of health, wealth in form of peace, wealth in form of whatever you may want to understand wealth. But there is one major type of wealth that everybody pursues, called monetary or material or financial wealth. The wealth, the things of the world. And when we speak of this type of wealth, we mostly refer to making money. Making money, because money is the currency that transacts for everything else in this world. Even the things of God, without money, they are very hard to transact. Yes, I'm telling the truth. I've been a preacher for the last 11 or 12 years since I started preaching at around 2010. That is about 15 years or so. And along my journey as I was growing, I have come to realize and I've come to notice, without money or without financial muscle or without monetary strength, it is absolutely very difficult to transact the things of your life with dignity, with respect, and with boldness. In most cases, when you don't have money, composure, how to compose yourself, doesn't work for you. And a person who does not have wallet strength, in most cases, they display the worst form of weakness and infirmity. Let me tell you, there are people that we are living with that are very talented. They are very potential. They have great ambitions. The visions they have, or the program that they have inside them, if given a chance, if given a space, if given a mechanism to operate fully, those people are a solution to a whole village. Those people are a solution to a whole family. Those people are a solution to a whole estate. Those people are a solution to a whole nation. I must look at a gentleman in Africa that is called Dagote from Nigeria. They normally say he's the richest man in Africa. I don't know, something like that. But if you look like that person, every aspect of national and international economic, he does him. This person, he doesn't pursue opportunities. Opportunities rather pursue him. And I want to believe that I think 95% of human effort currently is towards making a financial gain. And you will notice in those 95%, about 80% of them, their effort don't add up or doesn't bring the gain they were pursuing. And I always tell people, if you look at the departments of a normal human being, we have the department of knowledge, that is education, health, and then we have the health and the peace in one area, and then we speak of money, and we speak of marriage, family setup, and there's something else there. You look at all of them, and spiritualism. The rest you can achieve by mere faith. Health, you just need faith. Knowledge, you just need to go to school. Your parents took you to school. You did it did not require your effort. Marriage, you just get somebody out there and you start a marriage and you start bearing children. But when it comes to the area of material growth, clothing, eating, taking those children to school, living a well-respected, standardized life, paying your rent or your bills, owning a plot and building a house, at least getting yourself a car, and you start buying yourself shares and government security boards, and you start growing in that area. That is the most difficult area. Getting healed, you just go to a man of God, they pray and you're healed. The disease is gone. Go to the same man of God for money spirit, for blessing, for impartation in the area of wealth making, in the area of prosperity. You can stay with that man of God for 5 years without getting a breakthrough. But healing, you received it the very first day, the very first impartation. Because wealth, let me just use the word wealth in terms of material possession. It is one of the most thing Satan opposes in people, in people acquiring. Did I put it correctly? Jesus said, you cannot serve both money and God. So meaning in worship classification, in worship classification, in worship clarification, money is ranked in the same level with God in terms of worship classification. It is Jesus himself who put it that way. He said, you cannot worship both God and money, both God and mammon. Meaning, the toughest battle in this world, the toughest battle in this world is the battle of making money or using money if you have it. Either way, there are those who already make money naturally. The spirit of money is inside them. You get me? And there are those for them to make money. I'm telling you, it is actually hitting a quarry stone. It's like somebody who is in the quarry before they get the breakthrough. And there are those when they make money, they don't know how to use it. So that money damages them, destroys them. Okay, but let's come here. I want to speak to those of us who are struggling. I told you this program has also me inside because I want as well to grow in this dimension. I want as well to get restored, actually not to grow, restoration. You get me? And the hardest question we would like to ask ourselves is very simple. What is the secret of money? Especially for a believer. Especially for a believer. What is the secret? How do you become wealthy? What happened? What is this thing? Why can't we make money automatically? You do something and it is paid accordingly and according to the value. You got that? You do something that is worth a certain form of payment, but you are paid something that does not end up. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you did something that was worth paying, let me say like 100,000, and they paid you 1,000? There is a gentleman I was discussing this matter with like 2-3 months ago, around the month of December last year, and he was telling me there is a job he goes to do, and that job is worth like 5,000 per night, 5,000 per night. But the man he works for pays him 2,000 per night, and without any question. And they'd agreed. It was a job that they'd agreed. I'll be working for you to be paying me 5,000 per night. But this person looks at the person and he sees what he is worth of is 2,000. Number one, that is enslavement, oppression, misuse of his labor and his strength, and a breaching of contract of trust. And I know many people of us are in that category. You yourself, you know you are worth a good salary. where you work. But what you are paid is nothing close to what you are valuable for. You put a business, you know the capacity that you have, you know the ability that you have, but you can only manage 2, 3, 4, 5 customers a day. But the potential inside you is servicing the whole estate. But because there is something that is not correct, something that is not right inside you, or if, or maybe there is something you lack, because either there is something wrong with you, or there is something you don't have that is needed for that. Let me tell you something. Money is not a prayer item. No matter how many years you can kneel down to pray for money, money will never come. But number one, you need to understand that money hates noise, and you can borrow that from banks. Money hates noise. And we mostly view prayers in terms of using loud voice. So money, there are some other factors money observes in a human being. That's why you notice even in the churches, the people who are financially stable, they are not prayer warriors. Have you ever noted that? Have you ever noted that intercessors are the most people struggle financially? And you try to understand that it doesn't work. And the people who just come in the church at around 10:30 to around 10:45 there, 10:50, when praise and worship is leaving the stage, when the announcements are just about to start, so that we can go to offering, and then the man of God starts with the main sermon. Have you ever noticed those people who enter the church during those hours? Those people are in a class of themselves. But the people who don't have wallet strength, they are the one who arrives at the church at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and the latest 9 a.m. And when they arrive at 9 a.m., they feel as if they have committed a sin. Have you ever tried to understand what is this? What is this? A person with financial strength, their lifestyle is the principle that governs whatever is going to happen where they are involved. But a person who is financially infirmed, financially crippled, they never have any say. No matter even if what you wanted to speak would make sense, you don't have any authority. If you look like a word in the book of, I don't know, let us use a word in the book of Proverbs 10 and verse 15. Let me just use this word and then we shall enter into something. 10 and verse 15. The wealth of the rich is a fortified city, but the poverty is the ruin of the poor. Did you get something? That the wealth of the rich is a fortified city. So somebody who is rich, even attacking them is very difficult. Even insulting them, even speaking ill against them is very, very, very difficult. And by the way, it is very rare, very rare, very rare. And I repeat again, it is very rare to defeat a rich person, a wealthy person, a prosperous person. Even God Himself respects them in one way or the other. And if you want to disagree with me, I can borrow from somebody like Zacchaeus, a very wealthy man who had gained his wealth through corruption. But Jesus Christ entered his house because he wanted his money so that he could distribute it to the poor in his charity mission. Look, somebody like Matthew. Jesus called Matthew the tax collector. Who buried Jesus Christ? Joseph of Arimathea, a very rich man. And you have ever studied Jesus Christ? During the day, he was preaching, healing, and performing miracles to the poor. But during the night, he was dining with the rich men. During the night, Jesus was dining in the houses of rich men, Simon the leper, Joseph of Arimathea, Zacchaeus, Matthew. But during the day, he was interacting with the poor, sorting out their problems here and there, healing this disease and that, and so many things there. You need to understand. You need to understand. Money will always take you to another level. Money will always take you to another level. You will sit on the tables that call short for great wisdom and understanding, even if you know nothing. Yes, your money speaks Your money speaks wise counsel. Even if you are you don't have the knowledge about that field that is being discussed at that point or at that moment. Why? Because at the end of the day, their discussions, whatever they are going to conclude in, will require you. So you are seen as the most knowledgeable person, even if you don't know anything. And something else I've been observing in our society, the people who were crude when we were schooling, those people who we used to say that they were slow in learning and understanding, are the people who came and made a lot of money, and they employed us we were being called choppies and genius. You get that? How does it work? Let me tell you something. Money is a spirit. Even if you have a physical note in your wallet, a dollar, a euro, a pound, or a yuan, yeah, whatever note you have, or a Kenyan shilling, even if it is a note, that money you will see it as a paper. But money is the only physical thing in the world which is a spirit. Praise Jesus Christ. Money is a spirit. That is why when that spirit leaves you, you don't know where money goes. And if that spirit comes into you, you don't know where money comes from. Money looks for you. Opportunities of making money just hang around you. There is a gentleman in Kenya. I've been borrowing very much in understanding the spirit of money. And this guy, we normally call him Sonko, Mike Buvi Sonko. He was a former Nairobi governor. And if you look at that guy from the onset, the way he has grown in the line of finances, there are so many questions. But you will notice money comes where he is. They normally say they are involved in wash wars. But me, I don't believe. Me, I don't believe. If the spirit of money is in you, if the spirit of money is in you, let me tell you, opportunities of making money rockets you. People, when they tell you there is something that is here, and I was thinking that you can handle it. And they say, oh, it's okay, it's okay. And have you ever noted the people who make money are the ones that use the least effort? The people who make money, they are those who use less effort. And the people who don't make money are those who use the most effort. They call it handwork. And me, I call it hand labor or painful toiling. So we need to understand what is the difference in this ecosystem. And if we are not willing to introspect ourselves and ask ourselves some difficult questions, why it is working for B and it's not working for C. It is working for D, but it's not working for A. It is working for F, it's not working for G. How is it that it is working for Kamau, but it's not working for Jorogen? What is the difference? We are not the same. We are not similar. What the point of departure between one person and another is the spirit, is the content inside, is the supernatural investment inside that person. But when we come here, all of us look almost like we are all human beings. We are all Kenyans. We are all Christians. We are all what else? You get me? We all have identity cards of Kenya. We all have Safaricom number and Airtel number. We have so many things that are in common. But when you look at life type of life, totally different. What brings that difference is the governing spirit. And that is why I want us to discuss about making a covenant with wealth. Making a covenant with wealth. And I would like to use this verse. This verse is very, 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 very important. I don't have it here. Deuteronomy 8 and verse 16 and 17. No, Deuteronomy 8, verse 17 to 18. This is the most profound verse about money. And I told you, money is a spirit. And money, you don't get it through prayer. Let us stop using the word money. Let us use the word wealth, isn't it? Deuteronomy 8 and verse Sigana, verse 17. You may say to yourself, my power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. Do you get that? But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. For it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. So, meaning there is something called ability to produce wealth. Let me tell you, no matter how educated you are, no matter how connected you are, no matter how beautiful or handsome you are, if the ability to produce wealth is not inside you, you can be sleeping where money is, and you will never walk with the spirit of that money. For it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. So, meaning there is something called ability beyond handwork, beyond your effort, beyond your hard labor, beyond your painful toiling, beyond your sweating. There is something called ability to produce wealth, and it is a God given. It is a God given. If you look at the word in the book, we shall go back there. The word in the book of Ecclesiastes. Please encourage me by tapping there. Let us build this program together. Can you look at Ecclesiastes chapter number 5 and verse 19? Moreover, when God gives any man wealth and possession, so wealth and possession is given by somebody, by God, and enables him to enjoy them, to accept his lot, and to be happy in his work. This is a gift of God. This is a gift of God. So wealth is part of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. But there are men of God who are going around in our days preaching a gospel that is demonizing faith of wealth from God. There are people who are born with the ability inside them. There are people who are born with the ability inside them. And mostly, this has to do with family background. Family background. You get me? If you're born from a family that already had exile, they normally say Dagote. His great grandfather was one of the richest. Actually, he was the world's richest man who started the first bank in those sides of those areas. And then he is born through that lineage. So this is a hereditary wealthy spirit. But there are others. It is given. You have to seek it. You have to find it. And that's why you notice, if you can now stand in the church and you ask people to be honest, that who is here in this church, who is believing God for prosperity advancement, let me tell you, and you say, if you are one of them, approach the altar. If you have come, if you believe, you're even believing God for financial prosperity, approach the altar. Let me tell you the truth. Even a baby will not be left on the seat, sitting. Because this is the primary number one agenda of every human being's effort and investment, becoming prosperous. And it's not the prosperity in other areas, but the prosperity in the area of money. Let me ask you, there are those who live in Kenya. June 2025, this year, is it that last year? Why did the people we were calling Gen Z attacked what they attacked, they did what they did, and all this? They were saying not to whatever, to the budget of that time, financial bill. Why were they fighting the financial bill? Because they said it was stringent in the area of money, because taxation had gone high. What if people had money in their pocket? Who would have gone to demonstrate? Have you ever had a demonstration in a nation like England that they are demonstrating against taxation? No. No. They are capable. They are financially capable. Whether they are depending on credit cards, they are financially capable to survive through. But as here, we live to mouth. So when any sharing is touched by government, you feel the pinch immediately. Others will talk with God in the form of great financial empowerment. This is the way he is putting it. Gold and silver are mine. Haggai 2 and verse. Gold and silver are mine. That's how he put it. And here he is saying, it is God who gives you the ability to produce wealth. So if God hasn't given you the ability to, you will notice much of our hard work amounts to waiting, amounts to slavery, amounts to oppression, amounts to fatigue, and amounts to tiredness that is been to a point where you need now to use some painkillers. And there is somebody else somewhere. They have just seated. They have just seated, and they are making money, or they are just sitting. They normally say that they are working smart. No, there's nothing that's called working smart. How you tell me somebody who is applying knowledge, skill, is applying time discipline, and is also applying financial ethics and integrity, and still that the person is not growing. And another person out there, very reckless, just comes up with something that does not even make sense. And within 6 months, those people are already building houses. You fail to understand. And this is the reason why you find many people going to the dark world to be given the powers of making money. You get me? But what about us? What about us who believe, who we say that we cannot go to Illuminatis, to Freemasonists, to money rituals. We can't go to those demonic herbalists to get those things that try to make money, to get charms, to get spells, to get magini. What about us? Is it going to work for us? And he says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and these things shall be added unto you. At what point are they added unto us? At what point do we start now benefiting? I would like to give ourselves, because I'm also included in this. This is a topic that, as well myself, I want myself to benefit from this topic. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 8, verse 18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Look here. And so confirms his covenant. And so confirms his covenant, which he saw to your forefathers, as it is today, as he saw to you, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Notice here. Moses is telling them, why is God giving you ability to produce wealth? Why would God give me the ability to produce wealth? It's because he wants to confirm a covenant. And so confirms his covenant. So the ability to produce wealth is a confirmation by God of existing covenant between you and God. Let me tell you something. There are different sources of wealth. You got me? There are different sources of wealth. It all depends. You are pursuing your wealth dimension from what source. And me, I'm speaking of wealth source as God. Because he has said in Haggai 2 verse 8, gold and silver belongs to him. So at what point then do we now make those gold and silver ours? If you look at Revelation 3 and verse 18, he's saying what? Let me advise you, buy from me gold refined with the fire, so that you may become rich. You get me? And if you look at Revelation 2, he is telling to the pastor, the church number 2, the second church, that I know your afflictions and your poverty, yet you are rich. So you find there is a person who is very rich in terms of supernaturally, in terms of spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, you dream, or you seeing yourself in very high standards of life. Driving great car, having a very palatial house, being an employer. You see yourself as person who have zero. But in the spiritual realm, the most rich person. Ephesians 1:3. But God has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus. In the spiritual realm, in heavenly realms, you are very rich. You are very wealthy. You are very financially stable in the spiritual realm. But in the physical, in the reality, zero. You even slept hungry yesterday. Praise Jesus Christ. So I want us now to understand, how then shall we walk? How shall we then walk with a dimension of wealth, with a dimension of money? People of God, money is sweet. Don't allow anybody to teach you an ethical gospel that money is evil. No. Even Jesus Christ himself depended on money to a point of performing a miracle to make money. In Matthew 17 and verse 24, he had to tell Peter, no, go to the lake with your fishing line. The first fish you catch, open its mouth. It has 4 drachma coin. Come and pay my tax and yours. Why did not Jesus pay tax miraculously or make them forget? He had to pay because money is a primary fundamental commodity of transacting even spiritual survivors. Yes, it is true. You notice, like, even getting government services, and it is our own government. We pay to our own government for our own government to serve us, and we elected that government to serve us. You feel to understand. Even getting an ID, birth certificate, death certificate, you have to pay. Everything in this world has a price tag. Even marrying a woman has a price tag. Nowadays, there is no woman that is being interested into entering into a marriage settlement with a gentleman who does not have a skill of making money. Money has become actually the primary requirement for every aspect of this life. Even when you are getting sick, before you get sick, first of all, make money. Don't get sick having not made money. Because the moment you become sick, people are tired. You will be left alone to death. Even going to India to be treated, and the treating, healing is a God-given gift, but you have to pay for it. Everything, even going to church, there is no church you go and the pastor says, I've given you the word, come for the blessings. He put his heart on you and he blesses you and tells you, go home. After all that, he will tell you, bring the offering. Even the things of God, bring the offering. Kwani offering ni nini? What is offering? Is not offering money. Again, because man of God also want money. There is nothing in this world that we can function with without money. Even this suit, even this tie, even this shirt, even this proper shaving, even this phone I am using here, even this Wi-Fi that I am using here is all about money. So everything, people of God, we must make money. May God help us and give us. Deuteronomy 8. Deuteronomy 8 is the backbone of our discussion. Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 is the backbone of our discussion. It says, for it is God who gives you the ability to produce wealth, so as to confirm his covenant. So, people of God, if we are not going to make a covenant with wealth, there are different types of covenants in the Bible. This Bible has like about, 7 covenants or so. There is a Noahic covenant. There is Abrahamic covenant, which encompasses Isaac and Jacob. There is Mosaic covenant. There is Davidic covenant. And there is prophetic covenant. What else covenant is there? There is another covenant I'm forgetting. You get me? And then There is the Davidic covenant is, and then there is Messianic covenant. You get that? There is Messianic covenant. So there are different covenants in the Bible. There are different covenants in the Bible. There were covenant of love, covenant of peace. There were different covenants. But there is one specific covenant that is not even preached in the churches. Covenant of wealth. Deuteronomy 8, verse 18. For it is God who gives you the ability to produce wealth so as to confirm his covenant. And this covenant was made in Genesis 15. When he told Abraham, by then he was Abram, to bring 5 type of sacrifices: a heifer, a goat, and a ram, 3 years old each, and then a dove and a pigeon. And he put them there. And there came a trailing brazier, a burning torch, and God made a covenant with him. And all that. A covenant. That's why Psalms 50 in verse 5 says what? Gather to me my consecrated people who have made a covenant with me by a sacrifice. Starting point. Let me tell you, money goes where there is an existing monetary covenant. And that is why people who go to dark powers, there is something they call money ritual. Money ritual. What is money ritual? It is a covenant service that is done using some certain things there they use, like bread, like whatever they do. There's so many things they do there in money ritual services. That is what we call money covenant, covenant with wealth. And mostly they use human sacrifice. You get me? So the dark world people understand this Deuteronomy 8:18, that it is very difficult for wealth to work and operate in you if you don't have a covenant with that wealth. Because wealth dimension, prosperity, riches, money, material possessions, title deeds, log books, business permit, everything that has to do with money, check, bank accounts, M-Pesa, everything that has to do with the money, gold, silver, everything that has to do with the money, they know money follows a covenant. Because where there is a covenant, ability to produce money is given. Go back to Deuteronomy 8, verse 18. Read it together with verse 17. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. And that turn you can see it with the Revelation in verse 18. Revelation 3, verse 18 says what? I advise you, I counsel you, buy from me gold refined with the fire, so that you can become rich. Himself is always saying, buy from me. How do you buy from him? How do you buy? And he's saying, buy gold from me, refine the fire. Once you buy it, you'll become rich. It's all about making a covenant. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, making a covenant with wealth. And I told you there are different dark covenants. There is covenant with death. There is covenant we call the soul tie. There is a covenant called marriage covenant. There is a covenant called blood covenant. There is other covenants, we call them soil covenants. There are different kind of covenants. But have you ever thought what governs money? Have you ever tried to reason what governs money? What principle governs money? Can you look at the following? We have said the onset, the ability to produce wealth is given where there is an existing covenant. Can you look at this word? Can you look at this word in the book of what? Okay, First Chronicles 28. Look at this word. First Chronicles, is it 28? 29. Yes, First Chronicles 29. I would like us to read together verse 12. Wealth and honor come from you. You are the ruler of all things. In your hands are strength and power, and give strength to all. Did you get that? Wealth and honor come from you. That is very fundamental, because we are being told where money comes from. We have been told wealth and honor. And where there is honor. And he's saying, and honor comes from God. So no matter how we are going to offer ourselves for anything that is monetary, until we align ourselves. We remember God has 7 dimensions. God has 7 stars in his heart. I don't know whether you knew that. If you read Revelation 1, it says that he was holding 7 stars with his heart, 7 stars. So God has 7 dimensions of working, recorded in Isaiah 11 and verse 2. In these 7 dimensions, one of that dimension is a dimension of wealth. And if you look at Jeremiah's calling in Jeremiah 1, if you look, he is normally called the prophet of suffering. If you look at Jeremiah 1 and verse 10, see, I today appoint you over the kingdom of the nations and the kingdoms, to uproot and tear down, to destroy and to overthrow, to build and to plant. He was given 6 prophetic dimensions, but in the hands of the Lord, he is holding 7. So he was not given the 7th dimension. And that's why you notice Jeremiah's ministry was full of struggles. Even buying a plot would amount to him being imprisoned. Do you remember he was arrested when he was going home to buy a plot from his cousin? And he was arrested for buying a plot. And by the way, he didn't leave that prison until the fall of Jerusalem. 7th dimension. Notice here, there is a dimension. If we don't get hold of it this way, the rest of the dimensions are compromised. I don't know if you knew that. If financially you are not prowess, if financially you are not excellent, you notice other areas are compromised. You don't have the magnitude of boldness and courage to exercise yourself in other areas if your pocket is somehow shrinked. So we must focus on what matters most. And remember, they said money answers all things, but we know God answers all things. But he said you can't serve both God and money. So money is second in ranking. By the way, Satan is lower in terms of ranking to money. Mhm. Satan is lower in terms of ranking to money. The ranking of worship is God, money, and then the rest are below money. Hey, hey. So you're saying wealth and honor come from you. And that's the reason why we are putting it on ourselves to track the covenant of money. You will ask me, then, how is the covenant of money made? Can we just go together in, okay, I like using King's version. Let's go to First Kings. Allow me to use the King's version instead of Chronicles version. Okay, let us use Chronicles version. See, Second Chronicles chapter number 1. Second Chronicles chapter number 1. I know this one is debatable. You get me? I know this one is very, very, very debatable. Let's consider. I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm asking you to understand. And everything you do with understanding and knowledge will always bring an impact in your life. Look at the Second Chronicles. I would like you to look at this. Second Chronicles chapter number 1. And I would like you to consider verse 7. That night God appeared to Solomon. Okay, and he said to him, ask for whatever you want me to give you. Ask for whatever you want me to give you. And we know this is a story that we were taught even in Sunday school. We were taught that Solomon asked for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding or discernment. But God told him, I will hand you wealth, riches, and honor. Is that true? In verse 17, therefore wisdom and knowledge will be given you, and I will also give you wealth, riches, and honor. such as no king who was before you ever had, and none after you would have. And if you look at the same Chronicles, you look at the second Chronicles 9 and verse 27. The king made the silver as common in Jerusalem as the stones. Look at that. He made the silver in Jerusalem as common as stones. If you look like verse Gapi, let us look at the verse up there, 20. All King Solomon's goblets were gold, and all the household articles in the palace of the forest of Lebanon were pure gold. Nothing was made of silver, because the silver was considered of little value in Solomon's days. That's how wealthy he was, to a point that the silver was considered of little or lower value. The question then is this: how did this gentleman acquire that dimension? If we go back to Second Chronicles chapter number 1, there are two things we can borrow from there. Two things, mostly primarily two or three. Number one is the bronze altar. If you look at verse 5, Second Chronicles 1 verse 5. But the bronze altar that the Bezalel son of Uri, the son of Har, had made was in Gibeon, in the front of the tabernacle of the Lord. So Solomon and the assembly inquired of him there. Solomon went up to the bronze altar before the Lord in the tent of meeting and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. So two things, the bronze altar and 1,000 burnt offerings. This is not 1,000 Kenya shillings. No, he offered 1,000 heifers, 1,000 animals, bulls or whatever. 1,000, 1,000. I even tried to imagine how it was done, because the bronze altar was not that big. But they offered 1,000. They burning literally to ashes, 1,000 bulls. Notice here, that's not my. I'm not insisting on the quantity. The second is the bronze altar and the burnt offering. When he applied these two, that night God asked him, "What do you want?" And he said, "I want wisdom, knowledge, and understanding." And God said, "What you did also qualifies you for wealth, riches, and honor." So approaching the bronze altar with a burnt offering qualified Solomon for 6 things or 7. Number 1, wisdom, knowledge, wealth, riches, and honor. As simple as that. Why? Because I told you, wealth considers a covenant, and a covenant is made of an altar plus a sacrifice, and that is what you find in the cross of Jesus and the body of Jesus. The two, the cross is a bronze altar, and the body of Jesus is a burnt offering. When you combine the two, they release a blood. They release blood. That blood is covenant, is a covenant blood, and that the covenant is the one that releases the power, the ability to produce wealth. That is why we use 2 Corinthians 8 verse 9. For you know the grace of Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, he became poor, so that through his poverty we might become rich. So at what point do you look at this? Jesus is rich. He was rich, but he took on your poverty. Then at what point do you adopt that grace of riches and wealth? Because he has already surrendered it for you, for me. But he has taken on your poverty and has crucified on the cross. But you notice you are there, but you're not adopting into that grace of riches and wealth. And this riches and wealth is not about word revelation. It is about monetary riches. Monetary riches. That's why we normally say in Philippians 4 verse 19 that, "And my God shall supply all my needs according to his glorious riches." Glorious riches. Riches that are with glory. My God. At the word at my God, my meaning ownership means there exists a covenant between you and God around or around that line. This is a question that requires us to invest more in questioning. So Solomon comes to the bronze altar. The question is, do you have a bronze altar? You ask me, what does that mean? Isn't it? And then, do you have a burnt offering? You ask me. Those are the things that Jesus Christ suspended. And then those people who speak that language are the ones that are leading in abject poverty. They are really struggling. They're saying, I'm waiting for the Lord's time. When will the Lord's time be? When will the Lord's time become? When the Lord's time come? Do you think there exists a right time in this life? The right time is now, because tomorrow is uncertain. What is yours is now, the present now. And that is why we must become wealthy now. We must become rich now. We must become prosperous now. We must become financially stable now. We must possess material dimensions now. Do you know why? You are paying rent. You have a body that requires clothing. You have children that are going to school and they require proper balanced diet. You have things that requires that dimension. So when we become foolish and ignorant here because of pride, siufunge hiyo mlango. Because of pride and ignorance, we are tending to demonize and criticize a most fundamental dimension of life. You speak ill. Everything you speak negative about cannot come your way. Everything that you demonize cannot be admitted to you. If you speak negative about money, how can money be in your pocket? If you speak negative about wealth and prosperity, how can it come your way? The positive we speak about everything, even in the life ecosystems. The more you speak about your child, you speak positively about your child, the more they tend to become different and good. The more you speak nice and good about your wife, the more she starts to grow. Start speaking negative. They become that negative you are speaking. But we have been taught to speak ill about this line as a see if there is another life you are going to live. Once you die, you have died. You are waiting for something that we do not know even that it exists. We only believe. It's only the faith that helps us. But you do not know even it is there. So that which is yours is what you can handle now, you can enjoy now, you can experience now. So notice that for it. So I've said number one, make a covenant with wealth. Yes. If you do not know how to do it, my number is 0112 We can progress this discussion outside here. 0112 First of all, make a covenant with wealth. Number two, build or raise a bronze altar. Bronze altar was made of acacia wood and was coated with gold. So what does that mean? Isn't it? And then make a burnt offering. What does a burnt offering mean? Because the burnt offering means the body of Jesus Christ on the cross. You got me? Look at the number 4. Contact the grace. Contact the grace. Possess the grace. 2 Corinthians 8:9. It is a grace that makes you rich. Something else, very briefly, is Proverbs 19 and verse 14. Parental impartation. Go to your parents. Parental impartation. Our own parents. And that is why you notice most of the parents are used demonically by Satan to speak negatively about their children, because the devil knows about Proverbs 19 and verse 14. Houses and wealth are inherited from parents. Houses and wealth, material possessions, houses and wealth are inherited from parents. They might not give you something, but they give you the impartation. they give you the spirit. So another way of making covenant with the Lord is your relationship with your father and with your mother. And this one is not in terms of pastor and the church you go to. This is in terms of those who brought you into this world. Here, this parent in terms of those who sired and conceived you. Go to them. That is why this word was written by God through prophet Isaiah in Isaiah 51 and verse 1. Listen to me, you who pursue righteousness, who seek the Lord, look to the rock from which you were cut. Have you ever tried to look at the rock from which you were cut and to the quarry from which you were hewn? Look to Abraham, your father, and to Sarah, who gave you birth. The Lord is telling you that you are pursuing righteousness and you are seeking God. You are pursuing integrity and prayer, thinking it is going to prosper you. But He saying, no. Can you look at the rock that you were cut from your biological father and look at the quarry from which you were hewn, your biological mother? Consider that, then come. It will happen. Proverbs 19 and verse 14. Wealth and houses are inherited from our parents. So we need to go to that. Something else of very, 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 very important, very, 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 very important in wealth making is spouse. The spouse. If you look at Genesis 20, verse 14 to verse 16, and you look at Genesis 12 and verse 16, and Genesis 13 and verse 2, and you look at the Proverbs that one, the woman you marry, if you are a man, and the man you marry might determine very much your financial strength. If you look at the Proverbs that one speaks of a woman in verse 11, her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. Your spouse has the power to determine anything of value that you are going to possess in this life. And many people's lives have been destroyed because of the spouse they got involved with. There are people we know they were progressing very well. They were advancing very well until such a time they settled in marriage. When they settled in marriage, we don't know what really happened. And today they are struggling seriously. Have you never noted there are people in this life? Once they are in marriage, they are struggling. Once they divorce and they separate, you notice they are growing financially. Have you never noted somebody who was left by his wife and the wife went and became very prosperous and the man is still struggling? And a very good example, those who are in Kenya, you can remember Bishop Margaret Wajiro. She is a public figure, so you can use her name. You get me? Do you remember her case and with the Kamango? Do you know what the woman they divorced, they separated, the woman went to the two children. And the woman became a very great bishop, very wealthy, even becoming a member of parliament, even becoming an assistant minister, even becoming, her children, one of her child, even became a member of parliament in Nairobi. She became prosperous. What about the man? The man continued somewhere in Kiabu, one of those places in Kiabu, eaten by jiggers. The spouse you marry is very, very, very important. Is actually a major determining factor of your financial strength and muscles. You marry right, you are good. You marry wrong, you are perished. Unless that relationship shatters and is ruined. And I know many single mothers can attest to me what I'm saying is true. They are very, 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 very single. And the latest one, and I'm not using it as an example, and forgive me very much for that, is the latest one in the town. They are calling us Teresa, is it Teresa or something like that, or Muraya or something like that. That lady has broken off the shackles of chains of imprisonment. And that woman, she is a bride in the market right now. And what about the husband? Her husband has just been buried by that wave, by that crown. He is not as influential and vocal as there before. But now his wife, the estranged wife, she is flourishing all over and everywhere. The spouse you marry. And you might notice this gentleman, and I've said, forgive me for this gentleman called Karango, he might see it as as if it is a nonsense. But he might come to realize when he's too late that this woman called Teresa was the platform, was the altar on which he was making his money on. Now the altar has withdrawn from him. He might realize this was the lock that was standing on. It is very easy to come from the top to the ground. If I was him, I would do everything possible to go back to my wife. This one that I have that is making my wife go away, I would divorce you in the morning because I became rich when I was with this woman. So this woman, there is a secret code in her. It may be I've not yet discovered it. It could be God is blessing me because of this woman. Like Abraham in Genesis 20, he was given by Abimelech camels, donkeys, frogs, cattle, sheep, goats, male and female servants, all on account of Sarah. And even he was given 1,000 shekels of silver to bring vindication to Sarah. So Abraham acquired, even when you read Genesis 12, especially Genesis 13. If you read Genesis 13, it speaks of how Pharaoh treated Abram well with riches and wealth on account of Sarah, his wife. This is one, because women are a covenant. Women are not bodies. I normally tell people women are altars. Do you see that place where you go and you bang, 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 bang? That is an altar. Okay, we shall speak about that story another day, not for today. But women are a covenant. They are not bodies. They are not bodies. We shall speak that in details. But your spouse is a major determining factor. That's why you notice even in the First Peter 3 verse 7 speaks of if you don't live in consideration with understanding with your wife, your prayers are hindered. Even if you read Malachi chapter number 2, it speaks of how your prayers and your offerings are not accepted in heaven because of your wife, her tears and all that and all that. That is very, very, very important to consider. Something else to consider in making wealth is humility. Proverbs 22 and verse 4 and Proverbs 13 and verse 7. I would like to read that. It's very important. Proverbs 22 and verse 4. Humility and the fear of the Lord bring wealth, honor, and life. Humility. Proverbs 13 and verse 7. Proverbs 13 and verse 7. One man pretends to be rich, yet he has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. Humility. Money does not reside in an atmosphere of pride and arrogance. Money resides in a place where there is quietness, calmness, and peace. Humility. Humility. Proverbs 22 verse 4. Humility and fear of the Lord bring wealth and honor and life. And go and do your research. The people who are good in humility, money resides with them. The next one is the fear of the Lord. Do you fear God? And the way nowadays we are very complacent. We are speaking even ill about the men of God as if they are nobody. We have not been given the authority to judge. Jesus told us, don't judge so that you're not judged. Men of God have their judge. Let them do what they are doing. You pursue what is right. You know what is right. You have the Bible in your house. You have the Bible in your phone. Follow the truth written in the Bible, not what the man of God is saying. Not even what I'm saying. If what I am saying here is wrong and is wrong, don't follow it. That is why we read the scripture. And that's why I tell you, let us read together so that you can point it out whether I'm speaking the truth or wrong. Psalms 112. Psalms 112. Fear of the Lord. Psalms 112. About another secret code for wealth. Psalms 112 and verse 1 to 3. Let's read. Praise the Lord. Blessed is the man who fears the Lord, who finds great delight in his commands. His children, your own children, my children, will be mighty in the land. It's okay. The generation of the upright will be blessed. Very good, our children. But look at verse 3. Wealth and riches are in his house. Whose house? The man who fears the Lord. Wealth and riches are in his house. So if this is your house, your body is the house of the Lord, your house, isn't it? This is your tent. He says, if you fear the Lord, wealth and riches are in your house. So that's why you notice we have been introduced to a system of arrogance and pride because the devil is a master. He knows where there is humility and there is fear of the Lord, wealth, riches, honor, and long life resides there. Resides there. That is where wealth resides very well. Become flamboyantly arrogant. You do not know the door that the world uses to walk out of your life. You just realize, what happened to me? I'm crushed. Praise Jesus Christ. People of God, let us continue supporting this program. I encourage you to tap and tap and tap and tap and tap and tap. Let us give this program some mileage, and God is going to bless us. Let me use two scriptures, and then we conclude. Okay, there's another scripture called submission to God, Job 22:21. Job 22:21. Submission to God. Job 22:21 says, submit to God and be at peace with him. Submit and reconcile with God. In this way, prosperity will come to you. Submit to God. In this way, prosperity will come to you. So what does it mean to submit to God? Isn't it? Submitting to God means attaining the nature and the character of God. We shall discuss that in details somewhere else. Or else you can use James 4 and verse 7. James 4 and verse 7. James 4 and verse 7. Submit yourself then to God, lest the devil flee from you. Verse 10, James 4:10. Humble yourself before the Lord, and he will lift you up. So, something else, because of the interest of time, is favor. Favor. Exodus 3:21, Exodus 12:35 to 36, Exodus 11, verse 2 to 3. Favor. I would read Psalms 45, verse 12. In respect to time, Psalms 45 and verse 12. Just allow me to read 45 and verse 12. That is why you notice we are praying for favor in a very big way. Psalms 45 and verse 12. 12. The daughter of Tyre will come with a gift. Look here. Men of wealth will seek your favor. Men of wealth will seek your favor. So favor gives you connection with wealthy people. And who you walk with, you adopt what they carry. So favor is a major. That's why you have read the verses in the book of Exodus. The Lord favorably disposed the Egyptians toward Israel, that they gave them gold and silver and clothing. So they plundered the Egyptians, and they came out of Egypt with great possessions. They used the weapon of favor. So when we are pursuing wealth, we first of all acquire favor. That's why you notice in most churches, one of the major prayer items is rejection. Is rejection. Why? Because favor connects you with wealth or with wealth men in terms of ideas, in terms of strategies, in terms of opportunities, in terms of exposure. Another thing that you need when you are pursuing wealth is good name or a good reputation. Proverbs 22 and verse 1. A good name is much better than many lambs. So if you have a very bad reputation, where you are going to find money or where you are going to make money might not have a history about you. But your atmosphere, the atmosphere on which you are using in your functioning speaks of your history. That is why the Bible says, forget the former things and do not dwell in the past, for I am doing a new thing. And many people think you do along and then it is forgotten. It is no longer there. But we do not understand. It goes into our files. It goes into our shelves. And it awaits for the opportune time. And when the opportune time is ripe, you are about to enter into a deal. You are just about to sign a contract. that is going to take you to your own heaven, that is going to take you into your own Eden. Just something crops up from nowhere and it nullifies that whole procedure, that whole contract, that whole deal is watered down, and you go back to square zero. Simply because there is something that is speaking against you. So protect your reputation. Protect your reputation. A good name is better than many lambs. A good name is of more value than great riches. Let me wind up with the following. There are so many things we would like to discuss, but I would like to wind up with at least two things. Number one, Isaiah 60 and verse 11. Open gates. If you are pursuing the dimension of wealth, do you know there are those who are pursuing just for survival? They just want something to keep them on moving on in this life. Just something to keep them alive so that they don't die because of hunger and starvation. No, there are people like us, we are hungry. We are hungry for wealth. We are hungry for riches. We are hungry for prosperity. We are hungry for material possession. Why? Because we carry kingdom dimensions. There are some certain assignments and purposes that we are carrying that requires immediate implementation, that requires immediate operationalization. So whatever is available now is not where our minds are. Our minds are on the gold. Look here, Isaiah 60 and verse 11. Your gate will always stand open. Your gate will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night. So that. Do you see that? Isaiah 60 verse 11. So that. So that. Why should the gate remain open? So that. So that men may bring you wealth of the nations. Their kings led in triumphal procession. One of the things that you need to consider when you are pursuing wealth dimension is opening of the gates of wealth. If you read Joshua chapter number 6, speaks of how Jericho was tightly shut up because of Israelites. No one went in, no one came out. But if you read through the whole chapter, it says Jericho city contained gold, silver, bronze, copper, and iron. It contained US dollar, euros, what else? Sterling pounds, what else? Kenya shillings, and Chinese yuan. You get me? It contained five currencies or five dimensions of wealth, but Jericho was tightly shut. Tightly shut. Nobody can access the grace. So you have to do something to open the gates. The question is, are your gates of wealth open? The gate of wealth in your life, is it open? Or it got shut by witchcraft? It got shut by sin? Or it got shut by demons? Or it got shut by your ancestors? It got shut by family foundations or something like that? Is your gate of wealth open? It's a very big question there. You must ask me, what does it mean, the gate of wealth? The Bible has said, your gate shall not be shut. Your M-Pesa account should be receiving money day and night. Even when you are sleeping, you wake up and you find, oh, there is an M-Pesa. Your bank account is supposed to be receiving remittances day and night. But how do unless you wait on something that you know it is going to forthcome, you don't have an expectation of something that is going to work beyond where you are. No, when the gate is open and the gates of wealth are opened, you receive wealth from men. Men bring you wealth. They might not bring you wealth in terms of monetary things, but they will bring you their ideas. They will bring you strategies. They bring you visions. You just go and implement and make money. But when the gate mind, when the gate is closed, when the gate is closed, just be content. Just become contented with the manner. Okay, tutamalizia wapi? This one is It's becoming more and more and more and more deeper. Notice this one. I won't leave without discussing Ezekiel 28 and verse 3. Are you wiser than Daniel? Is no secret hidden from you? By your wisdom, notice this, by your wisdom and understanding, you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasuries. By your great skill in trading, you have increased your wealth, and because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. There is something that is called wisdom for making wealth, called great skill in trading. There is wisdom called great skill in trading. If you don't have this, forget wealth ambitions. By your great skill in trading, you have increased wealth. Have you ever observed, or have you ever heard of these stories of, do you see that one? He has started from humble beginnings. There was a time he was going around collecting garbages, collecting empty bottles to go anywhere there for few shillings. But now look at how he has become. Do you see all these big company? This is his. Have you ever tried to ask yourself, what was a game changer? Have you ever tried to ask yourself, what is that propels an employee into becoming an employer? Have you ever tried to ask yourself, what is that can make a person resign from a job and go and start something that he doesn't know where it is heading to? When you acquire the great skill in trading, it is a form of wisdom that God gives you. It is so much elaborated in the book of Proverbs. We don't have the time to discuss about it in detail. Can you look at Proverbs 8:18? Proverbs 8 and verse 18. Proverbs 8 and verse 18. Look at this. 18. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than fine gold. What I yield surpasses choice silver. Who is he saying? With me. With me are riches, honor, enduring wealth, and prosperity. Who is this person saying? With me, I have this. Is wisdom. In verse 1, does not wisdom call out? In verse 12, I wisdom. I wisdom. So when you acquire wisdom, and I told you wisdom is as female spirit. I told you wisdom is a she, spirit. That's why you notice many men excel through the platform of their own wives. I decree and I declare in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, may we receive the great skill of trading, doing business. Have you ever heard of a story of somebody? They started by selling handkerchiefs. They just went to Gekoba or to Kamukoji and they bought a packet of handkerchiefs and they started moving around selling them. And today they are doing imports. The great skill in trading. I pray God to give me this. This one is amazing. The moment you get the idea, the moment you get the knowledge, the moment you get the revelation, what is that am I supposed to do? You just get that revelation. God just gives you that vision. Let me give you a vivid example. Look at this gentleman in Genesis chapter number 30 and verse 43. In this way, the man grew exceedingly prosperous and he came to own large flocks and many servants and camels and donkeys. In this way, what is that called in this way? In this way is recorded in Genesis 30 and verse And verse 37. Jacob, however, took fresh cut branches from poplar, almond, and pear trees and made white stripes on them by peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branches. Then he placed the peeled branches in all the watering troughs so that they would be directly in front of the frogs when they came to drink. When the frogs were in heat and came to drink, they mated in front of the branches and they bore young ones that were streaked or speckled or spotted. Jacob set apart the young of the frog by themselves. Did you get that? Where did he get this idea from? It is recorded in Genesis that 1 and verse 10. In the breeding season, I once had a dream in which I looked up and saw that the male goats mating with the frogs were streaked, speckled, or spotted. He just received a dream. He implemented the dream, and the man in this way, he grew exceedingly prosperous. There is a secret code in wealth making. We have just scratched the surface of it all. I can see it is 11:43. I have to rush into the main service. So I encourage you, people of God, challenge yourself and ask yourself, how is wealth made? Me, I preach this topic because it came into me yesterday when we were discussing conquering the kingdom of darkness live at 10 a.m. And this one I felt I needed to share with myself and also share with you. You can listen to it again so that you can write down what I have highlighted, the secrets that I've highlighted, and go and implement them. And tell me whether you are going to become wealthy or not. If you do not, then come and tell me I am a false apostle. And me myself, I'm now starting now officially, point by point. And I've come back and proved to God. And if I don't become wealthy, I will question God's integrity in terms of his own word. Proverbs 10 and verse 22. The blessing of the Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow. The blessing of the Lord, the impartation. Before we go to the other dimension, there are others that are more deeper. Let us become, first of all, financially excellent. Let us first of all become financially stable, financially working. Let money work for us. Let us stop working for money, but let money start working for us. This is where we need to go to. This is where many of us believers, if you have a children and you're telling me you are working for money, you're on the wrong path. If you are of the age of owning a house and you are still renting and you are still struggling even to pay that rent, you are on the wrong path. If still you are wearing raw quality clothing that haven't yet advanced from the quality that you are wearing when you were in your mother's house in the village when you were growing up, then we are on the wrong path. If your diet hasn't yet changed from the diet that you were brought up with by your mother at the village, you are still eating ugali and madodos, ugali and skuma wiki, not because of health issues, but because that is what you can afford and manage. We are on the wrong path. If we are still operating with the freezer, if you are still operating with debts, the online debts and whatever, to a point where you are being blacklisted to the CRB, Credit Reference Bureau, we are walking on the wrong path. Let us pursue money working for us. Let us come to a point that money will start working for us. If others have made it, what limits us from making it? If others have excelled in that dimension, why can't we excel? If others have become prosperous, why can't we become prosperous? If others have become rich, what makes you and me not become rich? If others are owning houses, even at raw age, as raw as 20 years, somebody is coming up with something They become financially excellent. You hear they are buying a house worth 45 million, and you hear you're still paying a rent of 3,500, 7,000, 10,000. When you're paying that 10,000 rent, you cannot allow us to speak because of how even you are picturing it everywhere, you're being photoed everywhere. Excuse me. Let us grow up. Wealth is our portion. Yes, money must work for me. Money must work for you. Can you one day wake up that the people are working for you? Yours is all about to do balance sheeting, balancing the sheet about the liabilities and the debits. You are trying to see whether they are balancing here. Is this one paid? Is this one paid? Has that bill been paid? Have you paid the KRA? Have you paid the Kenya Power? Have you paid the city council of your business permits? Have you paid for the, that should be your business. That should be your business. Filing returns, not for employment. No, fighting returns for your companies, fighting returns for your businesses, fighting returns for your money flow. Let God give us the wisdom. Let God give us the skills. Let God give us the strategies. And let God give us the spirit that you will do that and you shall see the fruit. If there is something bad in this world, is when you are just applying your effort with no fruit. Let us become fruitful. May God give us the fruitfulness potency inside us in Jesus' mighty name. Yes, I pray to God that He may empower us, He may build us, and He may do an impartation on us. May God equip us, may God empower us, may God give us the gift, may God give us the spirit. Isaiah 32 verse 15 says what? Until the spirit is poured on us from high, the desert will turn into fertile field. May a new spirit come upon us. May a new spirit come upon us. May we receive a new spirit. The spirit of poverty, may it be replaced by the spirit of wealth. The spirit of demons, can they be replaced by the spirit of angels? Because angels are ministering spirits. Yes, let's have a different spirit. Let's have a different energy. Let us vibrate with a different wavelength in Jesus' mighty name. My name is Apostle John Happamy. This was ATM program. My number is 0112796463. Those who are out of the country, it is +254 +254 112 796463. This was ATM program. My name is Apostle John Happamy. It is good you like, it is good you comment, it is good you share, it is good you tap, and it's good you make your offerings. Yes, make your offerings. We are talking about money, see dear? Yes, let us make our offerings by God's grace. That number I've given you is +254 112796463. Those in Kenya is 0112796463. Let us meet here again tomorrow at 10 a.m. We continue with our program, Conquering Kingdom of Darkness. God bless you so much. Let us continue thinking deep. What is that can we do to change our lives? Try to think, try to reason, challenge yourself where you are. If what you are doing would end, what would happen to your financial life? What would happen to your financial life? Let's just challenge ourselves. If we would one day wake up and we are paralyzed, that we can't work, shall we become burdens to people? Or shall we have put investments that can service us throughout, even employing caregivers? Imagine owning like 5 houses which are of 7 stories and they are all rental. And one day you wake up, you can't walk, you are paralyzed. Do you know you employ a nurse for yourself to be taking care of you, washing you, feeding you, doing everything for you? You employ a driver to be taking you wherever you want to go. Meaning you will not become a burden to anybody. Actually, even in that condition, it will become an opportunity to some other people. Just let us think, Handa. Me, I'm asking God to give me a revelation. Like he gave it to Jacob. Let God give us a revelation. You just come up with an idea, with a strategy, with a vision, with a revelation. And there you are. You go and implement it. And you notice, oh, this was it. I pray, may God give us a revelation. May God change our thinking. May God challenge our thinking. May God unpack our mindset and give us a new set of mind that would help us to view things with a different perspective. Yes, may God bless us so much. Yes, I'm happy to have joined you for those 1 hour and 40 minutes. It was a very good challenge. We have talked very much about the deep secret codes of wealth. Yes, the deep secret codes of wealth. That's what we were talking about today. And I believe the Bible is a truthful book. Yes, a Bible is a truthful book, and we can use it to become prosperous and to become wealthy and to become rich. Through the Bible, we can own our own houses, we can own our own lands, we can own our own vehicles, we can trade in security in stock exchange, we can trade with the government security boards. Yes, we can have institutions of financial making. Why can't you even become a bank owner? Why can't you become a SACCO owner? Why can't you become a real estate owner? Why can't you become a hotel, a major five-star hotel owner? Why can't you become a real estate owner? Why can't you become a vast rad owner where you are doing wheat farming or anything horticultural farming that can make money? Why can't you become chicken owner like Kasongo, a guy who is making money as if you cannot even understand, to a point where you're saying he's the most corrupt person in this world? And then when you're told what he makes in a single day through his poultry farming, you are left puzzled. May God give us the wisdom. May God give us the secrets. May God reveal to us what is that idea, that single idea that we need, that reveals to you this is your area. This is your classified specific area. If you function in this area, you are going to excel. And may God give us the power. May God give us the ability. May God give us the skills. May God give us the techniques. May God give us the mechanisms. May God give us the dynamics. May God give us His strength. And may God protect us so that when you are doing that, it is not destroyed by the naysayers. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thank you for everyone that joined me today. Thank you, Ogu of Justice. Thank you very much, Diana Jan Babes 23. Thank you, Avinash Kumar 2357. Where? Thank you, Victoria Varodez 377 367. Thank you, Sister Dot Priced. Well, he's a man guy. There are so many of you. There are so many of you. And thank God for every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you see this number? I can't mention all these names. There are so many, there are so many, there are so many. And I've seen a colleague there, Tony Opundo. Tony Opundo. Thank you very much for joining me. And I would like you to listen to this program from the beginning so that you can get the context. Thank you for all these people. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. May God bless you so much. Today we had a wonderful look at this graph. Where is it gone? Look at this graph. It's very, very amazing, very amazing. 60 needed to reach stage 7. We are going to reach there. Get 3 new followers within 7 days. 1, 2, 3, and all that. God